are in the Creating a Digital Blueprint program, and we're very, very fortunate to have two exceptional speakers. First is Jacqueline Mejias Fuentes. And Jacqueline, let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a seasoned business advisor, leader, and strategist, speaker, adjunct business professor, and entrepreneur. She joined America's SBDC New Jersey Center at Brookdale Community College in 2008. As a regional director, she provides the small business community in Monmouth and Ocean counties with the necessary assistance to ensure they achieve their desired levels of success from business inception to exit strategy. This is done by sharing a plethora of knowledge and expertise on the various aspects of small business development and management. In her 30-plus year career in marketing, Jacqueline planned, directed, and designed marketing programs for an international publishing house as a circulation director. She went on to establish Alpha Omega Direct Marketing and List Services, providing marketing assistance to small and moderate-sized businesses. So let's welcome Jacqueline. Linda Kanda is our other distinguished... I'm sorry, why do I keep saying Linda? Lisa Kanda. Lisa Kanda is our other distinguished speaker. We're very fortunate to have her. Lisa is president and Chief Results Officer of LK Corporate Advisors, LLC, a consulting firm specializing in strategic business and marketing planning, social media training and implementation, and personal branding and implementation, personal branding coaching services to businesses, entrepreneurs, and individuals. Lisa's approach is hands-on and strategic with a focus on achieving goal-oriented results. Her client roster includes financial institutions, professional service and nonprofit organizations, restaurants and retail shops, government contractors, cable companies, and C-suite executives. Lisa is a consultant to the Small Business Development Center at Brookdale Community College and has counseled hundreds of small business owners on how to use social media to promote and build their businesses. Again, let us welcome Lisa and Jacqueline.
All right, well, welcome everyone, and good morning. How did our program get started? I figured I would share a little bit of the history with you so you could see where it started and where we're going. And we continue to expand with it. Our program started back during the recession, around 2009. And what happened during that time is, as many as you know, a lot of businesses were failing. They weren't addressing marketing the way they should. They weren't making the necessary changes as we were going along. So one of the things that I realized when I did come to the SBDC was that there was a need within our area, specifically our region area, our businesses. I realized through our counseling sessions that there was a lack of knowledge, there was a lack of skill set. And in order for those businesses to continue to grow during the recession, there was something that our center needed to do. And hence came Lisa Kanda. And what happened was Lisa Kanda was actually doing a Facebook workshop. I contacted Lisa and I asked her if I could audit her class. Because at that time I was the assistant director and I realized that we needed consultants that were expert in certain areas, not your usual financing, not your usual marketing. So when I went to see Lisa, she said, sure, I could come in and audit her class. It was actually a hands-on class. And when you think about back in 2009, how many people were using Facebook for business? So by sitting in Lisa's class, I realized that as soon as the workshop was over, I said, can we talk? Definitely the program you're providing is something that I would like to take back to our center. I could see the need through my own counseling sessions in marketing that our clients needed that assistance. So hence, that's where it all began. It really started off with intro to Facebook. I mean, our classes were very, very basic at the beginning. And we realized that there was some individuals that had the basic level and some that had the advanced level. Yeah.
So you can tell we tag team pretty well. We've been working together since 2009, and it's been a great collaboration. And that's an important part of the story of how this program came together. And a little bit about how I transitioned into this. Who actually came out there to be a social media expert? I mean, there were no programs. You couldn't go to school for this, right? I have over 25, 30 years of marketing background. That is my corporate background. 2008 is when I started my business. Great time, right? There's only one place to go, and that was up in 2008. But huge opportunity I saw because I was using social media. As a marketing person to market my business, I saw the opportunity. So I'm learning as I'm going because that's what we all did and we're continuing to do because it's a fast-moving target. And as I'm learning it, people are coming to me saying, wow, you're using this new stuff, social media. Can you teach us how to do it? Now, ding, 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 small business owner, all right, create a program. And that's what I did. I started creating these workshops, hands-on, and bringing business owners in order to learn how to use social media. And it was just a marriage that happened because Jacqueline with the SBDC saw that there was a huge need through her center and that we could collaborate on it. So it really worked very, very well to do that. But there was another piece that was an important part, and that's how do you fund it? So, you got to pay me. I know. I love to work with I love to help people, but I also have a business to run, as you all know. So she had to figure out how to get me on board.
Right, and that's where the Jobs Act came in. It was an opportunity for me to go out and try something new, because part of the Job Act was help businesses grow, get them to employ more people, and how do you do that? They need to generate more revenue. So in doing that, I looked at the Jobs Act and I said, great, this is an opportunity. I have my goals, but I have 2 objectives I want to meet. And one of the objectives was to introduce our business community to social media, to digital marketing. So through the Jobs Act, I was able to fund and create the programs that started the workshop. The inception, which was intro to Facebook, intro to LinkedIn,
And Twitter. Because
Those
back
were the 3 that we started.
Back in 2010 is when we finally launched it. Those are the 3 major social media platforms.
Exactly. So that's where our funding initially started. And then as the years gone by, I'm sad to say that New Jersey, especially our region, went through Superstorm Sandy. And that was another time that we received funding, and once again, digital strategies came into play. Because that's when we realized how important digital strategies was for our businesses that were impacted by Superstorm Sandy. Because it was the only means of communication for some of them. Phones weren't working, but if you were able to get on Facebook, you can see what was going on. If you had Twitter, you could receive messages from that. So, saw an opportunity. We realized that our business community definitely lacked the knowledge and the skill sets in order to move forward, especially in the technological world we live in. It is, as Lisa mentioned, very fast-moving. And at that, how do you bring individuals that have been in business for 25 years up to speed?
Right.
So,
And I think the other thing was increased retention. Because by creating a program around this, whereas I know many centers offer social media training at different levels, but when we created a program, it put more behind it and gave value in a different way. I think that's what was really important in this structure, is it gave different value level, and retention was higher because people went through the different curriculum in the program itself, which we're going to explain to you shortly. But another piece of this, which is also really critical, and I'm sure you're seeing in your centers, is our millennials. So we have what I like, and this is what I'm seeing in the classroom. So I'm working with these participants, and of course in the one-on-one counseling, and you have your one end, which are the boomers, and I'm one of them. So I'm one of the odd boomers because the fact that I have embraced social media and I love change, but not everybody does. But I think many of the participants saw that they could relate to me very well because there's someone who figured it out, because it is daunting and scary. So they were there. But then we also have the Gen Ys and the millennials. And they're born into this, right? And that's a big gap. And how do you communicate? Because many of our business owners have hired them, or they're working with them, and so how do we help them all understand how to use social media the right way, the best practice, and using the tools to see the results that we want to see. So when you look at this, and then this is a really cool slide that I did find, and it's in the handouts, so if you download this from the app, you'll see this in more detail. But there are 3 different areas in this particular chart that I thought were relevant to what we're talking about. So we've got our boomers and we have our millennials, which are very different. How do we help them figure this out? The type of communication, and I find this in the classes very much. Your boomers are all about pick up the phone, will you? You know, email, of course, but, you know, we like to talk to each other. It's a whole different background. And then, but you have your Gen Ys and your millennials who are all about text. Well, I was not one who loved the text, but, you know, you adapt, right? So texting, different communication styles. The technology. Boomers acquired this technology. You know, if you're in that range, like I admit I am, you know, we figured out how to use the computer and Word perfect before we even had Word. We figured out how to use email. So we are adaptable. We can figure it out. It takes a little bit longer sometimes. Whereas you have this millennial generation that it was integral. It's how they grew up. They had computers in front of them from the beginning. And how do you relate to that, even in the workshop classroom setting, so that we can help them all communicate within there and also communicate better with each other from a social media context. So we found that as one of the challenges when we were putting the course together, that we had to attract all of them. So it wasn't just for your boomers. We're attracting everyone. We had to address that. And that was a part of when we looked at this, how do we make sure in the classroom we do that? But the generational challenges, this brings them together. And I found in the classroom itself, I could identify my millennials in the classroom and really utilize them to help me bridge those gaps because they had the knowledge base. So I would go in and say, okay, allow you to help us. And then it really helped the communication within the classroom. All right, so what is the actual program?
What is our digital program? As we stated, it started from basics. We realized that once we went through our basics, our clients were saying, what now? And through the hands-on, we started realizing that there was some that said that they had a certain skill set, or they thought they had a certain skill set, only to find out that there was a huge difference.
Right, after 2
So-
years,
Yeah.
I'm teaching this in 2 years. So we initially, we have Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. We were doing beginner and intermediate, and you probably have seen this, right? And you have a beginner level, someone who's just learning how to use it. And then you have some that are a little bit more advanced, they've been playing around with it, but they need that next level up. How do I get to here from there? And it made sense in the very beginning to do it that way because it was still so new to everyone. But 2 years into it, because I'm teaching this and I'm having my one-on-one counseling sessions with our participants, is I'm finding a larger gap of skill set as well as a continuum. And what I mean by that is that the participants were self-identifying a skill set that may or may not have been true. So they're in a beginner's class, but they're maybe more advanced. So they're bored because they thought they had to start the beginners. Or some, more importantly, would go into the advanced class, and it would just crush the classroom because I had so many people that were really at beginner level. I couldn't even teach what I was trying to teach because I had to backtrack and teach them how to turn the computer on and log in, and they thought they were advanced. So it took a couple of years for that to happen, and you may even still be seeing some of that in your centers because that gap is still there. But because we saw it pretty quickly because of the way we were delivering the program, we saw an immediate need to shift. And what I love about working with Jacqueline and her center is she is so proactive and innovative that she listens. And as I'm looking at this, I said, Jacqueline, we got to meet. I said, I'm seeing something here that we really need to address. Let's come to a meeting of the minds and see how do we do this. And that's really where this came from, because we saw another change happening. And in social media and digital world, you can't sit back and wait. You just can't. You have to move and adapt and be quick, because if you're not, you are left in the dust. It's just what it really is. And then this is pretty quick, when we move.
Absolutely.
So what's very fortunate for me, I think, is that Jacqueline brings in great talent. And I know this is not really we love Jacqueline show, but it's true. When you're fortunate enough to work with a director who gets this.
And how they're going to assist your clients. And as she mentioned, we have Lisa Kanzak and Roland Reinhardt, which is we call him our webmaster, but he brought in the component of website management, because you can't have one without the other. And by getting together and collaborating and working on this program, this is how we developed the digital blueprint program. We decided that we weren't going to do hands-on anymore, that it was going to be more class-based. And the reason it would be more class-based would be based on the information that they would be receiving. So this way they could further identify where they needed to be. What created the program was, we decided, why not a certificate program of completion? It does bring value to what they're doing. It also makes them want to commit. So this way, they're getting into the program, they're starting to realize how the program is going to work for them. One of the things that we do require, and I always say this when I'm talking about a program, is that you're going to get homework. There's action items that all our clients have to do. Without completing the action items, we don't go further with consulting. Simply because without it, they can't move forward. So, value of the program, taking the businesses from, and you're going to see through one of our testimonials how it went from one stage to another almost immediately, just by implementing some of the ideas that were presented through the program.
So we're going to address in the next slide or whatever, when you're looking at your center and how you deal with this and how a program like this could work for you. But for our center, what it really meant was that Jacqueline already had two very strong consultants in the area of digital marketing. So with my social media expertise and Roland's website and SEO and that component expertise, we were able to create this program. There we go. And Roland and I have met. So I don't know, again, every center is different. So Roland and I have spoken, we've met. We have very complementary skill sets in that regard, and we know each other. So having that kind of communication is very important because we sat down, I mean, we called the meeting. You know, so after we initially identified this, we called the meeting, and the three of us sat down and said, all right, how does this work? How do we recreate what we have to meet the needs of our participants and our business owners? And Roland and I said, all right, here's what I do, here's what I do. This is what we came up with. And again, yours doesn't have to exactly look like this. I'm just letting you know this is what the skill sets are that we brought to the table already, and we were able to create this program because of it. These were already in there some way, somehow, and then we made it work this way. So the first one that you're going to see here, and I know it's a little hard to read, so I'm going to pull up my little piece of paper so I can see it, is you have strategies. So we pretty much require everyone to come in with the social media strategy course to begin with, because without strategy, there's no basis for anything else. They have to see strategy. Then you have the website, your intro to SEO, and then social media, B2B, and social media, B2C. So the B2B being Google Plus and LinkedIn, the B2C being Facebook and Pinterest. All right? And then an intro to Google Analytics. So these 6 core courses that are 3 hours each are the foundation of the program. And they address both the website and analytics piece of it, as well as the social media piece of it. So a business owner who even gets into this piece of it walks away with the skill sets they need to either implement on their own, know enough about it so that they can pass it on to their employee. And many times what we find is that the business owner and the employee who actually will be doing the implementation come into the class and into the counseling sessions, or outsource it. All right? And outsourcing early on was not as much known. Now it is very well known. There are many opportunities to outsource through virtual assistants, through larger agencies, through mom and pop, small businesses. It's a plethora of folks who can do outsourcing with social media. And what I find, and this is what I found over teaching this over time and meeting one-on-one with all these business owners, is I can't tell you how many horror stories I've heard of business owners being taken to the cleaners. And you may have heard this as well. Spending thousands of dollars with a social media expert. They didn't know what they didn't know, and they thought they were getting X, and they didn't even know what the X was that they were getting, and then they come out and say, I have no idea what I paid for, and I don't understand this. So the whole piece of this, really that value of, if anything, understand what this is, and if you have to outsource it because we know you can't do it on your own, you know what you're supposed to be getting out of this. And I can't stress that enough, because it just breaks my heart when I hear the business owners spending all this money and getting nothing for it. They don't understand that piece of it. So that foundation is really important. If they did just that,
They would be fine.
they would be great. But then we have some other electives that we added into the program, because there is more. And this certificate of completion again, we have people going through the program so that they can then offer social media services. That's great. You know, they may not be eligible for the counseling piece of it, but at least they can take this to the table, and we know that they've gotten all the best practice and all the right things versus figuring it out on their own because they have a Facebook page or a profile, which is not the way to do it. So this second piece of here, which they can pick 2 of these for the completion of the certificate, intro to blogging, and then social media, which is Twitter and Instagram. Because Twitter just baffles most people, I know, unless you really like Twitter. And Instagram is still more of a younger audience, although it's still very relevant with Facebook integrating more and more with it. But because it's also hashtag based, we kind of put it here. There's not as much of a need. But in my individual counseling sessions, if they haven't taken this, if I see and identify that Instagram is where they need to be, trust me, I'm pushing them into this class because they need to take it so they can get counseled on it. Because if I there's a need for it. And then on the web side of it, intro to Google AdWords, and I believe you might cover Facebook ads sometimes now too, because Roland does that one. And then video. So these are areas that are electives, but clearly some of our participants take everything. You know, they're not required of that. They can take everything, as you know that, and that's great for retention, and great for deliverables, and all the other things because the value is there. But this is what really contains the entire program of how it's delivered. It's delivered. All these courses are delivered in the fall, and then again in the spring. And then we pick up, usually just delivering a few, like social media strategy, and a couple of the more in-demand ones so people can catch up. Because you have people, you know, this is very, very flexible. That's the other thing. It can take 2 or 3 years for someone to actually complete all this. They don't have to do it all in one semester. Some are very, very motivated, and I see them in every class, and it's wonderful. I have my tribe that follows me around, and it's great. But also, you know, they come and go as they need to, and then the center's tracking that so that when they finish, they earn their certificate of completion. Or they don't have to finish it. Again, you know, we've added that value to it because it's something they could add to their resume. They get a certificate that they, you know, it adds value to the program, but it's not absolutely necessary to you if that doesn't work for you, but it works for us. The second thing of this timeline is the consultant dynamics, and I just want to address that, and then we'll talk about how it's going to work for you specifically. As I mentioned with Roland and I, that we have very complementary skills, but I think another value piece of that is that when we teach the classes, I'm already looking to see who's a potential consulting, you know, counseling person, because I know the deliverables. I know who the right clients are for the center. All right, so I'm already seeing, you know, and we're offering the consulting. Of course, they're going to vet them before I see them, but I already know there are particular individuals in that class that are the right people for our center. And so we're offering the one-on-one counseling to them. When I get into that one-on-one counseling session, they say they start at social media strategy, which is typically where they do. But then that's very customized. Then I'm sitting down with that business owner, I'm saying, okay, now let's look at your business specifically, and how do we help your business using social media and creating that strategic social media plan. And from that session, and from the following sessions, what will happen, not only the homework, because they always get homework. When I write my notes up, I have very comprehensive notes, and then there are always action steps that client must take in order to move forward. They must have them. And Jacqueline will ask me when they, you know, or ask them when they request a second session, did you finish the homework from the first one? And I'll go check, because I can tell. And if they haven't finished it, it was like, well, you know, you need to finish the homework first. That's really important. But the other thing I identify in those sessions is where do they need to go next? Right, you know, because if they're starting here, if they're a B2C, if they're a restaurant, they need to be on Facebook. Facebook and Instagram might be the right 2 platforms for them. They don't need to do it all. So I'm going to push them and say, listen, you really need to sign up for the Facebook class. That's your next step. All right? You need to sign up. So I'm always looking to see where do they need to go next, and I'm encouraging them. Usually I walk them out to Ernestine, and I say, Ernestine, they need to sign up for this class right now. That's the easier way to do it while they're at the center. But we're looking to see how do we take that business owner along the path. And we're very proactive instead of reactive. And I think that's a huge benefit to having a program set up like this, because you're looking at a larger picture for your business owner. You're identifying how you get them from here to there, and you're taking them along the path. And this helps in that structure. When it comes to the other side of the house that I don't cover, which is Roland's side, I know enough about it. I own my own business. I've built my own website. I've done the SEO. So I know all that. I just don't teach it. But I can easily see, listen, I look at their website and say, you have no SEO in your website, or you don't need a website. You need to take this class. Or video would be really good for you because of what you do. You need to take the video. So I'm already encouraging any of the programs within here, any of the courses within here. So it's not just all about me. We're looking at a whole comprehensive strategy on how to help that business owner so that we get the results we see, and you're going to see them in just a second. But the thing is, how's it going to work for you? And I'm going to let Jonathan address that.
I know. For us, the center, what does it do for us? First of all, it does help us with outreach, getting new clients in, getting those growth clients, those that are interested in getting from one stage to another. That's what we saw with the program. In terms of one thing I do want to touch on that Lisa mentioned, knowledge, well, she didn't mention, but knowledge and communication. The more knowledgeable our clients are, the further we can take them. The other thing is communication within our own center. Our center is really a need-based center. And what I mean by that is, I know that some ASBDCs really have their generalist consultants. We don't work on a generalist model. We work with our clients based on their needs. So based on their needs is how we obtain these experts that are going to bring in the knowledge that they need, along with providing them with the proper counselors. So for us, it was a way of saying, okay, we're expanding our base on the expertise that our center had at the time. With that, also, we realized, someone mentioned earlier, revenue generator. You know, as we were looking at these programs, and you're going to see our numbers at the end, our revenue increased. You know, our host was very happy, you know, that we were generating more income based on our programs, because that is something we needed to do. So it helped us meet our deliverables when we're looking at high growth, customers, clients, retention, keeping our clients, having them come back, because if they're taking the program, they are going to receive their counseling sessions that is associated with that particular workshop and move on to the next one. Like Lisa mentioned, she would either walk them out, you know, to our administrative assistant who would sign them up for another class. So for us, that worked out really well. Really looking at how it has improved our clients' business is remarkable. You know, just putting it into practice. And even for ourselves, believe me when I say we practice what we preach. You know, my assistant director, which she's here, Pascalina, she's our expert consultant within the office as well when it comes to social media. Who taught her? Well, who taught us? Lisa Canta. Because we also had our sessions inside. It wasn't a thing that we were going to practice what we don't know. We were going to practice what we preach. So by doing so, we've seen how our classes, our workshops, the attendees numbers have gone up, helping us meet our deliverables, help generate additional revenue for our center. You know, for us, this program is also, our center tends to be innovative. We're very much into technology. I'm techie, baby boomer like Lisa, but techie also. And we know technology is it. You have to look at what technology is doing for small businesses. You cannot ignore it. Social media, not all platforms are meant for everyone. You know, and we know that. Based on that, that's how we counsel in our office. You know, what is the industry that you're in? Because we do provide industry-specific programs, but when it comes to the digital blueprint program, it's for all businesses. It doesn't matter what industry they're in, they're going to benefit from a program such as this. Our center has benefit, and the results we'll share more with you towards the end.
Right. So what I'd like to get from you now, I think, because we've been speaking at you, and I hate that part. We're kind of dumping, but I like a little bit of interactivity. And at this point, when you say how it worked for you, what we recommend, as we looked at this, because we recommend you take the similar approach that we did. Now, in 2009, when we launched this in 2010, we were looking at the needs of our community, and we were doing an audit. So Jacqueline immediately identified a gap. Now, many of you, as I quizzed you before we started here, some of you are already implementing some social media and digital workshops, some may not. But you want to look at what are you currently offering, because you don't have to go into this level of depth. You know, we were just very fortunate, and Jacqueline had brought the talent on board, and we were available, and we could create this. And then she had the funding behind it, which also helps. You know, I know it matters, but I think, as you see, but the dollars are following. So, you know, if the program can pay for itself for you, then that's even a bigger value piece. But initially, it did get some startup money through the Jobs Act. And then Sandy, which was a terrible thing for us to have to deal with, but the value that came out of the money that Sandy brought really elevated the program to a whole nother level as well. But what are you currently offering? Look at it from that perspective. Because you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. I mean, I highly encourage you to look at it from that perspective. Where are we already? How can we package it? Because this is about packaging. This is all marketing and branding, right? It's about packaging. So how can you package what you already have? And then how can you maybe enhance it a little bit more? And maybe it is looking at, going out for some other expertise that you may not have. Or up-leveling your internal expertise. Maybe it's your you need to increase your level of, take more courseware and gain the knowledge that you need so that you can pass it on to your business owners. Either way, but take an audit, see where you currently are, and now see how do we up-level that? How do we package it differently so there's a different value perceived to it? That's, smoke and mirrors, people, right? There's a different, we were offering this. But once we packaged it, it had different value levels. So that's really an incredible piece of this. The other thing is, look at the gaps. We talk about the generational gaps. Look at who you're currently serving. Is there an opportunity by packaging this and offering this, you're going to attract a different clientele that you need to fill? Because that's also important. And we found that as well. Some of the high growth clients that are now placed within the deliverables are starting to come into this program. And that's part of the consultant ability to identify it. When they sign in and I'm watching how they interact in the class and I'm getting more information because everybody introduces themselves and they tell us about their business, I'm tuning into that, like, ooh, and then I'm watching how they're reacting and what their questions are and what they need. So that's very interactive in that. Take stock of what's the gap you already have, how can this help you if this is good. You have a question?
Do you offer one of these classes a week, or do they come every week, or?
No, we do that basically, as Lisa mentioned earlier, fall and spring. We really follow our host institution's schedule because they do help with the marketing of the classes. So we do offer them, I want to say about once a month, some of them, some classes. Well, social media strategy is the one that we offer twice per term. All the others, and website management, twice per term. The other ones are once a term, and we just break it out into the schedule. We see where it's going to fit. We work with consultants that do service not just our center, but other centers throughout the state of New Jersey, so I work with their schedule as well. And we offer it at 2 locations, one in Monmouth County and one in Ocean County as well. So it's spread out, because this also gives them the ability to take in the knowledge, do the homework, and then come back. If you were to offer them back to back to back, once they leave Lisa's session, their head hurts, and I get it. They're, like she says, what's your term? You're flooding them? No, what is it? You're hosing them?
Okay, I open the spigot.
Yeah.
How big you want the hose open? Because I pretty much just
she lays a lot of information on them, and it's a lot for an individual to absorb in one shot. So this gives them enough time to take in the information, have their counseling session, come back if they have questions, and then proceed.
You mentioned that you give homework, but you also mentioned that some of the participants take up to 2 years to finish this. How does that homework, so you don't actually have to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to, you have to go in one order?
No, no order. They can take
other
the
than
classes
strategy. Strategy is the one that we
Right, strategy is always the one that we recommend they take first, because we realize that when people will walk into any of the other workshops and they didn't have a strategy, hey, you got a plan. So once they take the strategy, then they'll come back, and in terms of homework, Lisa's notes are incredible. You have a consultant that gives you fantastic notes and a story, you know you love that consultant. That being the case, I read the notes, and I'll see whether Lisa's available or not, or we have another consultant sitting with the client. The notes are there, so we know what to ask and say, hey, did you complete this? How far did you get with this? Because we do have those that'll wait the period and then come back and no homework is done. So we want to see what their outcome is. What have you done? Yes.
These are each one class day of how many hours?
3.
3 hours.
Each one is only 3 hours. And that's what makes it extremely flexible. We tend to give our classes either on the weekend or in the evening. Business owners are usually working
And after
during the
3
day.
hours, they can't take anymore.
That's it.
They get a comprehensive workbook. I mean, so
Right.
the slides become the workbook, so they get something, they walk away with some meaty stuff that they've got some good notes on as well.
Yes.
You mentioned it's not beginner and intermediate level. Is it a level? What are the levels for the courses?
One thing I have to say, and I'll jump in on that one with the instructors, you know, we tend to feel out the room, and we try to teach at that medium level. You may have those that are really advanced and those that aren't, so you kind of try to bring them up to the part. Lisa does a great job in moderating the whole conversation and making sure that everyone is getting the most that they can. And if she feels that someone is not advanced enough, she'll recommend, you know what, this is a thing to do with your one-on-one. So this way, during our one-on-one session, we can take them to the next level. Those that are truly advanced, we try to pacify them as well and say, you know, take the counseling session and we'll take you to the next level where you need to go.
Right,
So,
so
we
it is
work
a
with
challenge though, but it's, I've discovered, you know, as we've learned, it's better to do it that way. So it does, that your consultants, you know, whoever's doing the actual instruction, you know, you really have to have some good people who understand how to identify in the room. But, you know, as long as you can help everyone within the room, and as you know, if you have beginners, the advanced ones, you know, if you can team them up and they'll help each other, that, I find that helps a lot as well within the classroom. But it definitely works much better to have everyone there and be able to give the broader scope of what they need to learn. And then when you get in that one-on-one counseling, that's when you can dive deep. And that's when you can really say, okay, here, I mean, they're required to bring their workbook to the counseling session, by the way. So they can't just walk into the counseling session, because there's homework in the workshop. They don't get away. Within the workshop, they already have action steps they need to take before they can even get into a counseling session. So when they get into the counseling session, I'm saying, well, show me your workbook. Here are the things you needed to do. Did you do them? And sometimes they have. Sometimes they had questions. You know, they were at a beginner level, and they said, I didn't even know where to begin. That's okay at the beginning, because then I'm going to help them. I'm going to be able to pull up their Facebook page. I'm going to pull up everything right there at the center. I'm in a cubicle that has the technology available so that we can work one-on-one right on their stuff. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but and you all probably know, either both yourselves or working with clients in social media, it's all over the map now. And as they roll out another platform, it's like, oh, my head hurts, but here we go, you know, dive in.
And when it comes, with the consultants, I have to tell you, our consultants really stay on top of what's going on. You know, proud to say they're phenomenal. Workbooks is print on demand, because what's good this month, next month, something else. I always hear it from Lisa. Oh, Facebook did it again, you know, or LinkedIn. They changed, you know, the algorithm. It's not what it was before, so I have to change the workbook. So we print on demand for our classes because we're constantly changing them as time goes by. It's technology. One of the things that, in terms of what will work for your center, what we've done with our digital blueprint program is we've actually taken certain components of it and created boot camps. You know, all-day boot camps with additional hands-on at the end. So you can modify this for it to work for your center. You know, definitely do an audit of what's going on within your center, analyze your clients, determine what is their skill set, their knowledge, what's missing, and what is it that they need in order to get to the next step that you can provide.
Yeah, the boot camp really worked out well. I think with Sandy, and again, about funding and money, right? So you have to look at where the pools of money are and how can you best optimize this and get the value piece out there. So Jacqueline, again, saw opportunities and she goes, okay, can we do boot camp? I'm like, sure. So we did one B to B related, one B to C related, and based on time of year, because we're seasonal, right? It's because we're at the Jersey Shore. So, we knew that our B to C had to be during off season. you know, for our restaurants and our retail stores, whatever. So we did Facebook during the off season, so that we could bring in, I did a whole Facebook 3-hour, and with that piece of it, we opened it up. I think at one, we had about 90 to 100 participants that came in the morning. And then the afternoon, they needed to have, because it was a hands-on computer-based class, and I could only handle so many in a hands-on. If you've done a hands-on computer class, you know what I'm talking about. So we had to limit the registration for that, and in that case, we did one on Facebook ads, because everybody needs to do Facebook ads, you know, in that area, and they're just confused and lost. So back to Jacqueline's point, that boot camp drove its own particular thing, but it really came out of this. You know, this really was the first step, and then we started seeing the ripple effect of other needs and other ways we could generate brand awareness and income and deliverables and all the things that are based on this. So it really, this can be a starting point, but it can go a bunch of different ways. It depends on how creative you want to be. But there's lots of opportunity here. Yeah,
I was just curious what you were charging.
Actually, our rates went up and people are still attending, so it's a good thing. We are currently at $65 a class.
So no, like if somebody commits to the whole session, you know, the whole group, you're not giving a
We
little
did that at
discount?
the beginning to attract. It was like they registered for, I think we gave them a free class if
Yeah,
they
we
registered
did come up with an incentive in the very beginning.
at the beginning, but now
Now we don't need it.
now it's $65 a class. Yes.
How many typically in the class? How many attend?
That will range depending on the topic. It
And time
can
of
go, right. Usually, I want to say on the low end, we're probably looking at about 9. On the high end, I think we've had about 30. And that would be social media strategies. So it varies, and it all based on the topic.
There's demand for certain things other than others, you know that. There are certain things people really need to know.
Do you have any tips if you're currently offering these type of classes at no cost, and then to structure it where they're now having to pay a cost for
Well,
the class?
Actually, our boot camps were at no cost. Those were part of the Sandy program, so it was funded through our Sandy grants. But have we done any at no cost? I'm trying to think. No.
But I think, right, but I think for you, if you're giving no cost now, the value piece, if you create a program of completion and they get a certificate, it just adds a whole different level of value to it. Right? So I think if you've been offering, so and you can just maybe, you know, they have to take X amount of classes and it's going to cost them, you know, whatever your market will bear, but whatever makes sense for you. But I think it's the certificate that will add the value where you can charge. I think that's the difference. You have a question over there? Okay, we'll move on.
We're on.
All right, so, for some of the challenges for our businesses, all right? Because, you know, again, how do you fill those classrooms and how do you adapt and what do you do? And why do we see that need? And then this is part of the marketing behind it when you're attracting your business owners and you need to fill those classrooms, but what makes sense for our business. So the first thing is, why do we take the structured approach? Why are the things included in our program that made sense to us that could overcome the challenges we saw in the business community? So the first thing is time, right? So, you know, we never have enough time. You know, our business owners don't have the time to even figure out social media. That's huge, right? It's like, I can't figure this out, but they need to. I mean, I am adamant when I tell you, I've just heard too many horror stories, and I really preach it that these business owners need to understand how this works, even if they're not going to do it themselves. Because they're going to need to hire someone to do it because social media is not going to go away. As we've seen it, it continues to grow and change and move faster and faster. And so as advocates for our business owners in the marketing sphere, you need to include social media and you need to help them understand this and figure it out. So time is a big thing. So that technology moving so fast, we really stress the whole point of this is that you either figure out how to do it yourself, pass it on to an employee, or outsource it. Because you have to do it, but at least we're going to give you the tools and the knowledge and skills to be able to do either one of those 3 options. Right? So you can take it into your marketing program. The other piece of it is the analytics, right? Understanding analytics. And this is part of that, you know, you pay for somebody to do it for you and I didn't get anything for it. Or I'm doing this and I'm getting likes, but I don't understand why I'm getting likes. So the analytics piece is included not only within the program, but also in the one-on-one counseling, because our business owners need to understand. You need to measure to understand the results. You need to understand the strategy behind this, and that you've got your goals set, and your goals aren't necessarily likes. But there are analytics behind there that will show you the value of this, and that's a big part of it. The content, we have your, creating compelling and targeted content. What that basically means is it's a new world out there. Content is based on now your reputation management and your relationship building. Very different world that many, especially the boomers, are used to, and they're just used to spewing out sell, 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 and we don't do that anymore. That is not social. Social, all that relationship building and reputation management and building. And helping the business owners understand the change in marketing in the social world is really critical. And that's a big challenge because they're not used to that. Even your younger, millennial, Gen Ys, they're used to doing it in a completely different way. They're into the relationship piece, but they don't understand the reputation piece of it. I say, your 15-year-old nephew doing your social media, I'd be a little concerned because they don't understand the whole reputation. They could throw something out there and it could devastate your business because they don't understand how they need to manage that. And that part of your content has to have a strategy behind it based on this content creation. The tools and platforms. You don't need to do it all. That's the other thing we see coming in, and these business owners are told this. Some social media consultant will come in to them and say, I'm going to get you on all the programs, and we're going to put them all on your website, and then they sit dormant. Have we seen this before? Right? We've seen, I look at their, because I do my homework before I even meet with the client, and I look at all their social media. I'm like, why did you even sign up for this? Well, I hired somebody 2 years ago, and they set me up on it. So you don't need to be on Pinterest. It's not your market. Why are you there? So really helping them be strategic and understanding what platforms work for their particular business is part of this. And that's why the program has that whole value piece to it. Because they don't have to do it all. And the relief that comes from some of these business owners is like, really? I can just concentrate on 2 platforms? I'm like, yes, 2 and do them well, and you're going to see success. Because we're going to put all the other pieces there. And then really, they lack mentorship and development training. And this is what you guys do best. This is what SBDC does, right? And this provides that because they finally have a trusted source. They can trust you. They can say, okay, I have someone here I know that's not going to try and, take me to the cleaners and sell me something I don't need. That your interest is in their best interest. And that to offer this in that capacity is really, really valuable to them. So positioning it, knowing their challenges for you as far as the marketing piece is huge because we see it. This is what's out there. And are you seeing this as well? Is this what your business owners are seeing as well? And how you can turn all those negatives into positives for you and how you can market a program like this. You can add to this? I know I kind of went off.
My thing is just based on past experience where we've had clients who've come to us with packages that they've signed on the dotted line and realized, first question out of our mouths is, what's, deliverable? What are you getting for it? You're like, and the other one is, I'll hire a kid. He can tweet for me. Tweet what? What content? You just can't do that. And I always, just because they know technology doesn't know they know how to use it. There has to be a strategy. There's a reason why you put it together the way you do for business in order for it to work. So I'm happy to say we've been there for our clients. I know Lisa has been a champion for some of our clients when they've signed on the dotted line and they said, can you go in?
Testimonials. Jacqueline knows. I always like to look at it because, we have to get our kudos somewhere. And whenever we do a boot camp or whatever, I want to see the testimony. I want to see what the result, what people are, because you're evaluating this. Of course, we evaluate it
All the time.
every course, every workshop gets evaluated. We want feedback. I want to know how I can always improve it. Trust me, it's a continually moving target. So if I'm missing something, I want to be able to make sure I'm addressing it. But I also want the feedback. We want to know, are they succeeding? Are they really moving the mark? So first one was how. And how, you can probably talk more about how than I can. But there's some key things in this particular quote that he addresses. And one of them is that he talks about outsourcing. So Hal already knows that he can't do this himself. So the program helps him in figuring out how he can outsource it. He talks about our workbooks. workbooks and the resources, so we definitely have tools they take with them. So they come out of that 3 hours, and their head may be spinning, but they go back to it, they can readdress it and deal with it. And then really just being hands-on, because not only because it's constantly changing, not only in the course itself, that I'm always adding new examples, but also when I get one-on-one, I mean, it's hands-on. I mean, the computer comes up, we pull the programs up, and we're dealing with it right then and there. But how is it interesting, client that, but what type of business was it? Because I think that was really cool.
I just wanna say makeup because
Yeah.
there's a patent going on,
Right,
so.
it was online.
Yes.
Online, so yeah, we're dealing with a completely e-commerce. Completely e-commerce.
One thing I do want to say about Hal, before coming to our center, he has spent thousands and thousands of dollars in New York versus New Jersey, trying, just to obtain the knowledge that he needed. And once he got to our program, he said, I can't believe how much information and how much knowledge I'm obtaining at such a minimal cost. So it's not that I feel, well, for our area and our region, it's not expensive what we're offering. It's pretty minimal. You go to our neighboring state and you can see how expensive it could get, and they don't receive not even half of what we're offering through our center.
Marcy, definitely came in through the digital, so, the program itself attracted Marcy. So the actual package that we gave is what attracted her to it, right? So she came in and she's a personal chef, and just really a dynamic presence, which I love. But she fits into that millennial Gen X, and she just passed the millennial stage. What I loved about her quote is, she says there, the larger audience will be able to pick up on your vibe. But that's really what they see. Their vibe is their voice. They're how they develop relationships, how they're authentic they are. They have to learn this. It doesn't come natural to put yourself out there. Many business owners try and have a wall, or they don't want people to know who they really are. That doesn't work in social. You need to help them learn how to be themselves so that their customers can relate to them. And she's a perfect example. If you follow her on Instagram, oh my gosh. And I'm a proud mom, I think, because I see what they're doing, and she has just taken Instagram to a whole other level, which is where her audience is. And she's just rocking it because I think it's working for her. She knows it is. She's been in how many PR? Because again, press is watching this. So you talk about the ripple effect. She's had 3 major.
No, I was just gonna say with Marcy, I mean, she's been more than 3 because just recently she was picked up by MJ Biz for another, publication. So not only is digital marketing working for her regular, it's impacting the regular channels. They're seeking her out. She's on videos. I mean,
She's
it's
got major
endless.
write-ups in major publications because they've seen her social media. So she's put herself out there, they're identifying with her, and then all the press are reaching out to her. We did help her in the very beginning. The Asbury Park Press, which is our local newspaper, had approached her early on. They had seen her stuff, and we did offer her counseling on how to do media interviews and things like that, which was very beneficial. But she's just taking it to the whole next level. So again, we love it when our students do their homework and they actually implement. But Marcy's one of those that's definitely. But she's younger. She's not your typical boomer. She's much younger, but clearly gets it. Clearly gets it how the benefit is to her business, and it's growing. And our anonymous one, this is the one we just talked about. He didn't want to identify himself for what he does, but I know who it is. But he had taken the boot camp. So this is where we packaged the boot camp, where we did the morning session, and then he was in the afternoon, which is all about Facebook ads. And he did what I told him to do. Surprise, and boom, saw immediate results on $30. Was able to make over 800 direct. I mean, that's what we love to see, right?
That was over, from Friday, by Monday, he's already sending us an email and letting us know what happened over the weekend.
There's different ways you can impact your clients, but the results are there, and then they're telling us about it. So if you're not getting, you're offering these programs, ask for make sure you follow up, because you're doing good stuff already out there. You need to build on what the results are, and build on what they're saying they're getting, and then look, where can we go next? I mean, I think that's the constant thing. We're always innovating and saying, all right, we have haven't exhausted this yet, so what's the next thing we can do that can forward our clients and make them even better than what we're giving them right now?
And just to touch on that, I mean, we've realized in our office, just again, going back and analyzing our clients and their skill sets and what's out there in terms of technology and what's changing within social media. Like at one point, we thought Google Plus was it. Now, Google Plus is not it. You know, we realized that what we thought was gonna take off, didn't take off. So now that's one of the things that's coming off, because it's no longer relevant to our clients. It's not working for them right now. So we don't wanna continue stressing, you know, an application that's not gonna work. So we're constantly reviewing, you know, an analysis of our program, what's working, what's not, what needs to be tweaked, what needs to be changed in order to make sure that we're meeting our clients' needs.
Is that, and that, we do Google Plus, but now we do it in the SEO part.
Right.
Okay, I mean, it's shifted, because it's now it's this much, not this much. So it has to be addressed, it's just moved to another area that's being covered. We don't have to cover it in depth that we used to. So that's pretty cool. All right, so how do you implement this?
Okay.
This is all about.
This is all about the SBDC. So first, funding. Like I said, I started testing the idea, and it went back to the Jobs Act. Funding there gave me the opportunity to give it a shot. When I saw the results, I knew it was the right thing to do, and we started moving forward with that. Along came Sandy, again, used some of the funds that we received from Sandy to continue helping our clients move forward, because it's all about economic development. It's helping them generate that revenue, so they can hire additional people, so their business could grow. In terms of consultants, I really made it a point, when I became director of our center, that our center was gonna be a need-based center. Based on that, you're an expert in my center. As a consultant, you're not a consultant. In terms of that, came across Lisa, can't speak more highly of her. I mean, she's like the right consultant, expert in social media. Then I have Roland on my other side, doing what he has to do for website management and development, and then making sure that we can all communicate with each other. Communication is key. You know, they have to communicate with me in terms of their notes, because they do need to see what's going on. As the center director, they need to be able to communicate with each other. You know, Lisa's great, and when she's sitting with her, in her sessions with the clients, she'll come out and she'll say, hey, this is a potential success story. Hey, this person, definitely a high growth client. You wanna make sure you stay on top of this client. So identifying the right clients, so this way, you know, we love helping, but our resources, which I'm sure just like yours, on the small side, our staff on the small side, so we look out for those tire kickers. We can't invest that much time into individuals who are not gonna take their business to the next level. So having your consultant, you know, have that expertise and that competency of saying, this is someone you should be watching, this is someone who can definitely make an impact on your deliverables, those are the ones you wanna hold on to. And then always making sure for our center, I'm proud to say, we're very innovative. We're constantly, you know, raising the bar. I like to say I'm always pushing it, I'm always challenging my team to do more. We're great at certain things that we do, and I'm like, well, the things that we're not great at, we're gonna work at it. We're gonna see how we're gonna move our center to a different level. And the reason being is because we wanna service our clients the best way we possibly can. And in order to do that, we know that whatever we're preaching to them, we're trying. So this way, we're all growing, not just our business community, but our center as well. Then looking at the curriculum and saying, okay, what platforms are working? As I mentioned, Google Plus went from this much to this much because of what's out there. Which ones are the ones that they actually need to use? Knowing that not every industry really needs to use every application. And who has the time for that? You know, making sure that they have the tools that they need to be able to manage all the applications that they're looking for. Their website, crucial. You know, we all know this stage in the game, if you don't have a website, you have a problem. We know that it's not expensive to put a website together, but they go hand in hand. It's called digital strategies. So you have social media on one hand, website on the other. You know, you always wanna remind them, just because you're on a social media application, that could go away any day. They could take that away from you. You always wanna mention that their website is their real estate, is their personal real estate, that no one is gonna take from them, from the web.
I think, well, just to jump off of that,
Sure.
is one thing that, with the boot camp, you know, being innovative and identifying needs mobile. When we saw the change with Google changing their algorithm for, mobile and the whole mobile trend, even though we don't teach mobile specifically in the curriculum, it's taught within the curriculum because we identify it, but we saw an opportunity in the boot camp to focus on mobile. So, in the morning session, I do a full session just on mobile and mobile readiness, because we know that's a need, and if they're not paying attention, they're not gonna be able to get down. So that was another piece that we brought into the picture.
And with staying current and that we realize with social media, it goes back to the disaster that we encountered in our state. You know, without social media, there was no communication for some of us. You know, so we saw the value that you need to incorporate it in what you do. So making sure that you're using it, you're there, and that it's working for you at all stages of your business. Making the changes as necessary. Also, evaluating your clients, looking at the skill set, knowledge base. It's critical. They may think, as you mentioned earlier, that they have certain skill sets, and then when you sit with them, you realize they don't. You know, so making sure you're addressing all their needs, those that are at the beginner stage as well as those that are at the advanced stage. And then with your consultants, the ongoing counseling. This is crucial for us as BDC. We're always looking to work with clients and generate more counseling hours. So you want to make sure you have a team of consultants that can do that for you and that you're addressing those needs of your client base. And benefits. For us, it was creating a cutting-edge program. When we started it, we said, it started basic. It was really something so basic as beginners and intro. And has morphed into this wonderful program, Digital Blueprint Strategies, even coming up with the name, Digital Blueprint. I mean, we sat in our office, in my office, and we went through different variations of the name, but it's digital. That's the world we live in. So, creating such a program that when people come to your center, they're like, this is great. It's not teaching me the same old status quo. Now I'm learning something new that's really going to work for me. And that's what we want our clients to walk away with. Knowing that we've created a program that's really valuable to them and that it is going to take them to the next level. As well as helping our center meet our deliverables. We know deliverables are key. You know, that's how some of us get our funding. So, that being the case, we had to make sure that through this program, it was helping us reach new clients, which had to do with outreach. It helped us with growth clients, those that were looking to go to the next stage, whatever stage that may have been. Revenue, key. You know, we have to pay our consultants. That's why we don't offer them for free. There's the cost to everything you do in business. So making sure that we're able to pay our consultants properly. You know, we love our consultants. We want them to stay with us. So, you know, that takes us all the way. I mean, the benefits and the value that the program brings, not just to our centers, but to our clients, I can't even put it in words because of the gratitude that we see from our clients because of this program and because of what it's done for their business.
That's full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the exact results.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Okay, so our program, when we first started, it was about 2009, which was the basic one. And it took us a couple of years to morph into something else. And I was 2012 is when we actually started the Digital Blueprint. And these results are based on the beginning of the year. And we had 10 individuals who actually completed the program. You know, they took the time, they have their certificates. At this point, the number is slightly higher right now. Actually, it wasn't 10, but 5 completed the program, and they received their certificate. We saw an increase of 343 individuals who participated in the workshop, showing that there was a 64% increase in our workshops. Now, I can tell the difference from our regular workshops, which is, foundation on business development versus our social media. Also, revenue, 66% in revenue increase. If you need to hire someone, that's where your money comes from. You need a coordinator to help coordinate the program. This is where the money can go. In terms of public relations, when we go out and we talk and we do our outreach, people flock to this. We've created simple marketing pieces. The takeaways, people want to speak and I have them with me, they're gone. I never have to worry about taking them home with me. And it's just a piece, public relations, and they're the ones that are calling us to find out. And then our success stories. We've had so many success stories. Lisa's going to share one
Do one little quick case study.
one quick case review. But as you can see by the testimonials we have a great deal of success stories that have come from those with social media. Yes?
Just roughly, what do you think the average participant, how long does it take to complete the program?
It depends on their energy. Because some want to do it in 6 months. Those that register and say, I want to take all classes, they'll register for all classes at one time. So, energy and time. So some 6 months, some under a year, I have to say, because if they miss the class in the spring, they have to wait till the fall. So it's usually under a year.
It can take about a year, and it also depends if it's the business owner or an employee, and the business owner, giving the time for an employee to implement it. So that, it depends, but I think that, again, the flexibility of the program is attractive, because they know they don't have to, schedules are schedules, they can't make a particular class, they know they can catch up the next semester and take it then. And they ask, trust me, they're asking us, well, I know I can't take it this semester, when are you offering it next semester? We're like, well, we'll let you know as soon as the schedule's done. But clearly, there's some variables there, but I think that because it's an ongoing rotation, is that they know they can complete it over time. Yes?
The curriculum is 100% what you develop, none of it's purchased.
Right.
Yes.
You develop the whole thing.
Very
Mhm.
different criteria. But we say that, and in the same breath, it changes. I mean, I had gotten up to teach a class, and it's on demand. They didn't like it when I told them this, but they understand now because you really, and even with that, it's a week before because I do realize you have to have time to print. But I literally walked into a classroom and pulled up Facebook and went, oh, okay, changed it again. So it can happen. It really can happen. It can change pretty quickly. So, the curriculum, the fundamentals are there. The strategy piece is pretty fundamental, but the platforms always have to be adaptable because social media changes. But again, that's a whole other value piece of it because keeping it on top of it is really critical. And then talking about that as one of the benefits you offer to your business owners is really important. Because I can't tell you how many workshops I've gone to, many of you have as well, and it's the same old, same old, same old. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that we're always ahead of the curve so that our business owners can get the latest of what's out there. In the one-on-one counseling, you can always backtrack a little bit and get some of the fundamentals back into the picture for them. But, mobile, again, that was a big one. I said we have to really start pushing mobile in everything because we can't ignore it. And our business owners have to know they have to be mobile ready. And we have to figure out ways to integrate that into some of the curriculum that we're doing. So really important.
And it's critical to have consultants that know what they're doing, because our consultants would be the ones that develop the curriculum. It's not like if I sat there and said, oh, I'm gonna put this together. No, they came with the curriculum because they're the experts. They know what they're looking for. They know what things are changing and how to change them to make sure our clients are receiving the most up to the point or.
Well, we have our own clients. I mean,
Right.
because Jacqueline knows, our consultants we have our own client base, so we're working with our own business owners, and we know what's out there. And I invest in my own professional development, so I belong to many organizations and gurus, so to speak, that keep me on top of what's happening, because there's no way I could continue at this level because it changes so quickly. But I've invested as a consultant into the right programs, so I continue my professional development, and then that's the value I bring to the center, because Jacqueline knows that I am always that step ahead of the curve. So I know what's coming up before most people know about it, because I'm with the folks that are on the cutting edge of this, and then I'm bringing it back to the center and saying, okay, here's where we need to go next. And then we prove that in the program.
So it's critical, having the right consultant. You know, look at your resources. If you're thinking of putting this program together, what do you have in-house already? Do you have an expert consultant who can do this? You know, making sure that you have one on social media as well as one on website management. You know, see how communication is going on between your consultants.
I think the other thing is, because I've spoken to many consultants that work with the SBDC, and there's some great ones out there. It's also looking at, are you really utilizing them to the level you can? Because it's one thing as a consultant to do as you're told, and come in and you do the same thing. It's another if your director or, from the center takes a more proactive approach working with the consultant, saying, is there more that we can do? Are we really utilizing the talent that we have here? Because you may have the talent there, and you may have the opportunity and the resource, but you just haven't investigated it to the level and had the conversation. Your consultant may say no. You don't know. I was very proactive about it, and basically because there's that part of me that truly believes in the small business owner. Having started my business in 2008, I get it. I know how hard it is out there. I walk the talk, and that makes a big difference, I think, for our business owners. And I'm so passionate about it that it comes through. And our business owners that I work with know this. They know I mean business because I am invested in their success personally. Because that's how I'm driven. The center gets the advantage of it, as Jacqueline knows, but
Well, we're invested in your
yes, they're
success as
invested.
well.
When I get there, but when I'm working with them, there's a real connection that I mean business, because if they don't do the work, it's only going to hurt them. And I really want them to succeed, and I know the advantage is there, so it really makes a difference. So that's, I think, if you're working with consultants or you have them on staff, really take a hard look at, are you really doing everything you can? Or do you even need to invest in a little more professional development on your own? I mean, it could be, as Jacqueline mentioned, Pascaline and Jacqueline in the center invested in sitting through the courses, working one-on-one with me to the next level. I was there to answer their questions and help the center advance their own social media platform and presence, because they really took that to heart and said, we have to do it as well. So you have to look at it from both ends. But definitely see what your talents are within the center. Okay. We're almost ready to wrap up. We're right on time, too. All right, so our last is a case study, Pam Hall. She works for EPS Corporation. EPS is a defense contractor. A high-growth client, definitely. We would have not found them without this program.
Right.
There's one of those that found the program and showed up, and we're like, wow, what an opportunity. And some of the things that she mentions in her testimony, she mentioned me my name, which I really appreciate, but she took the entire certificate program, so she worked with both me and Roland to complete the program. But one of the things that's really important here is she talks about building confidence. She, taking this program to build confidence. And we know with social media, it's easy to be uncertain and not sure of yourself because of the way it is. So this program helps that business owner build confidence in her knowledge and her ability, not only to do it herself, but to transfer that knowledge within the company. This is a big company. Okay, so she's in business development. So this is a more B2B situation, so LinkedIn was very important to her. So not only did she take the courses and learn about social media, she took it to the next level and brought it internally and built the base within the company in social media and their presence, specifically on LinkedIn. So that was really critical. We love that. She said it saved them marketing money. This we love to hear, right? From a case study perspective, it saved them money. She immediately saw the result in how they could use social media, and they pulled back on some of the other marketing dollars and put it in social media and internally. And we like to hear that for them. Effective time management came out of this. So because she implemented strategy, because we narrowed it down to the platforms that they only needed to use, which was LinkedIn for their business development, Facebook for their brand awareness, they didn't have to be scattered all over the place. So she was very strategic and can focus on those, and that's it. And that was a huge benefit to them, as well as the owner of the company, who I actually got to meet and know, Jacqueline, who's the CEO. And they're bringing our praises as well, because now their employee is not wasting their time. She even says here, 5 minutes a day, 30 minutes a week. You know, she was able to learn these strategies and learn these tools in the course and in the one-on-one. So now she can be successful at it in a very strategic way. And then it mentioned she uses LinkedIn and Facebook specifically. Pam is one of our big success stories for many reasons, as far as, when it hits on all the marks for the deliverables and the success for the actual business owner, and their happy client. And she completed the program. She was the first one to complete the certificate program, which makes us happy to see that too. Pam was a good piece. Okay, I think that was it. Any further questions? We thank you so much, you guys.
Yes,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
Any questions?
Like an at-home office space. Currently, we're trying to work on some webinars, but because our state has an e-business program, just trying not to compete with them. And really.
As far as me, I mean, I can work anywhere.
Exactly.
So the program can be
It can be
delivered.
at-
In fact, when Sandy hit, we had many of our clients way south Ocean County. So from a distance perspective, it was quite a haul. So we used Skype. So we were
Use
able to deliver
technology.
the programs through webinar base, and then I used Skype for my one-on-one counseling. Because in Skype, you can share screen. So I could see their screen, and they could show me their social media, and then I could give feedback to it. So the technology is wonderful, and it's definitely a workaround.
So that's us.
So, yeah.
We use technology.
I'm available for anyone who wants to talk more about that, because I'm virtual, I can
Do
join.
you have the confirmation number for the
Oh, here it
workshop?
is. Sorry.
He has it.
Oh,
No, I have it.
Oh, you have it? I'm sorry.
Did anybody have any more other questions for our wonderful speakers? No? Okay.